So my friends at Music Theme Singapore just told me that they have new NUX pedal in stock in the shop, and they want me to go down to the store and have a look. I thought the weather looks good, why not? I'm Vinny, let's check out some gear today. So Music Theme do have a full range of NUX pedals, so if you want me to do a review of any of these pedals here, just leave a comment below. I've chosen to take the recto and the analog delay, but I'll show you the analog delay in the next video. Okay, bye. Okay, and I'm back in the studio and I have on my hand the Recto Distortion pedal from NUX, and they call this the reissue series, and it's a tribute to the classic. So this is a true analog pedal and it comes very nice. Let's take a look what else is inside the box. The wrapper, the holder pedal. I have the NUX QC card. This is to tell you that, okay, we have checked this before and it works fine, which is quite important. We have the nice NUX holographic sticker. I like this sticker. I have a few of them and they look very nice because they shine different color and depending on the angle you look at them. And you have the NUX owner's manual. Not too sure if we actually need a owner's manual for a pedal like this, but some things are very good to know. For example, it says here it needs a minimum of a regulated 300 milliampere with a standard 9-volt DC power. So if you're gonna use a power supply, you're gonna make sure that the power supply that is supplying a minimum of 300 milliampere. Most distortion effects I know they run on 100 milliampere, so this is surprisingly high consumption because it needs 300 milliampere. So just take note of that. And on the pedal itself, we have a few knobs. We have the bass, trebles, gain, and master volume. It says Recto Distortion, which this logo looks eerily similar to something that we know. Well, I mean, you know, right? This is a copy, or I should not say it's a copy. This is trying to look and feel and sound like the Mesa Boogie's rectifier amplifier, which is why they have this kind of design on this logo here. Supposed to look like Mesa Boogie. And at the back we have the rubber feet, and it has a 9-volt battery container or housing, basically a plastic cover, and inside sits a 9-volt battery. I've not used this is still in the wrapper because I don't think I'll need it. And sitting inside there is a regular 9-volt clip that you can clip your battery to. Okay, so I'm gonna put this back carefully. The thing about plastic covers like this is that we tend to snap it apart, especially this part, so you just gotta be really careful. I've seen other brands, they broke off very easily, so yeah, I'm gonna be careful with this. So yes, that's all it is. 9-volt DC power. Let's give it a try. Okay, so we're all wired up and I'm choosing this Ibanez guitar, this Destroyer guitar for this demonstration because I believe the pickup is Air Norton or some kind of DiMaggio pickup that I think that with the chunk of wood should be the best for demonstrating a heavy distortion pedal guitar. A heavy distortion pedal. Anyway, let's go. Let's turn this. Right now my settings, let's dial it to everything in the middle. As I can tell from the screen, there is a problem because the knobs, they are very reflective and they don't tell very clearly where your knobs are set to. So that will be a problem if you're on stage. But I guess knobs, you can change them away to something that's more visible, or you can put a tape on it to help you find out where your marking is. But otherwise it looks cool in its sense because I can see my own reflection through the knobs. Anyway, let's turn it on. I have not turned on this pedal before, and I should probably mention my setup right now. This guitar is lining into my HX Storm, through the Recto Distortion and then into my HX Storm. In the HX Storm, I'm also running the British J45 normal for the amp head, and I'm using the Celestion V30 4x12 impulse response patch. So this is how it sounds like clean. This guitar is a pretty old guitar and is a little bit out of not intonating well enough right now, but it's okay, it will do its job. So that is the clean sound of the guitar. So let's pump up the distortion. I'm very curious how it will sound like. Ready? Okay, before I start, remember everything right now is in this neutral position, or as I like to call it, everything is in the midpoint. Let's hear how it sounds like. Oh, wow! Oh, wow! Wait, this is $55? Oh my goodness, this is very promising. This is a very promising start. Okay, and it already reminds me of what I can use this in already. If I don't know about you in where you're from, but right now in my country, Demon Slayer, that Japanese anime, is very popular, and in the song, the opening theme right there is this heavy metal distortion part, and I can really see how this pedal will work for that situation. Well, this really sounds very similar to my, if you have been watching my videos, you pay attention, you realize that I have a Mesa Boogie Mark V sitting in the back. That is a beast, a monster to play. It vibrates my room, and in that aspect is also not very user friendly because you don't want the neighbors to come knocking and when it vibrates the room so badly. So to be honest, most of the time I don't use that amplifier. It's sitting in the dark, and most of the time I use my HX Storm and line in whatever effects before that. But wow, this is, let's hear that again. Really promising start. So anyway, as I was saying, this is everything in the neutral position, and let's see what we can do to it. How about let's bring up the gain knob. Let's push it up to this. Oh, I can hear the noise coming in. Can you hear the noise on your side? Let's hear it. Very nice, very saturated sound. Let's tweak the EQ. Let's bring there is a trick that John Petrucci put out before many times, which is to turn the bass down. I'm cranking it down all the way in this case, and let's see how it goes. Still works, right? Still rocks very nicely. Oh, that sound is really good. Well, let's push the treble all the way up and see how it goes. Actually, you know what? Let's bring that gain back down. It's getting a little noisy. Oh yeah, much better. Clarity! We get clarity right now. See how I just avoid copyright? Let me just bring this down a little to get that beige sound. Let's see if we can get a nicer sound out of it. Interesting. Now as I brought the bass, the gain down, the bass is really cut off. So maybe let's roll the bass up a little bit. The gain now is, I don't think you can see it very clearly. The gain now is pointing at the 9 o'clock, and my bass is now set to 9 o'clock as well. My treble is all the way up. My master is still in the mid neutral position. That is nice, but maybe bring the bass all the way to 12 o'clock again. Gain is still at 9 o'clock. Let's hear how that sounds. Oh yeah, we got more meat now. But of course, I think this pedal really isn't designed to do that brown sound thing, because that is more of a Marshall kind of sound. The rectifier isn't really designed for that idea. So if this is going to imitate the rectifier, it's probably not for that case. We should really go for more of a Dream Theater kind of sound with this pedal. I mean, who else do you know Mesa boogie with? I guess John Petrucci. So let me just try to tweak to somewhat a John Petrucci tone out of this pedal. I will think that my bass will bring down to maybe just at 8 o'clock. Treble is still all the way up. Gain instead, I push it to maybe 1 o'clock. Just at the edge of being too noisy. And let's see how that sounds like if I can get my John Petrucci tone. Okay, that was really intense, but can we make it sing some sweet emotional solo sound? Let's try it. I should mention that I have not added any delay or reverb into it, and I'm gonna do it right now. So I just turn on my delay and my reverb, and let's see how it sounds like. Maybe too much hair. Let's dial it down a little bit. Let's bring back the bass, and remember the dial. If you turn the gain down, the bass goes away, the bass goes up a little bit now. So right now my setting is that the gain is back to 9 o'clock. The bass is at maybe 10 o'clock. I don't know if that sounds good. Let's bring the treble down a little bit as well. Let's bring it to 3 o'clock. Let's see. I mean, I'm impressed with what this pedal can do. Right now I have went from really heavy metal to somewhat a very open sound. It's almost like an overdrive pedal. is really like, you can do double stops and it will work. It works with double stops, it works with very heavy power chords, it works with solo lead lines. I think we have a winner here. This pedal is really unexpected. I will say unexpected because when my friends at Music Theme, they told me, hey, we have a new pedal in store, you want to come check it out. It's only $55 for a copy of the Mesa Boogie's rectifier amplifier. I was like, yes, right. We're gonna get another, what's that Boss pedal called? So never has it crossed my mind that this pedal can produce such crazy tones. And I'm not saying that it's a one-trick pony either. You heard it yourself that it can set various kind of settings and create various kind of sound. And all I did was use this single guitar, and I created a lot of different settings out of this single pedal. And I know what you're thinking. How does it compare with a real Mesa Boogie amplifier? Unfortunately, I do not have the rectifier amplifier. I only have the Mark V, which I think is good enough. The Mark V's characteristic is a little more on the mid tone. So I think that is the little drawback that as comparing to a real rectifier amplifier. But you get a comparison, which I'm going to show you. Yes, I'm going to compare the Recto pedal with the real Mesa Boogie amplifier and see how it fares. And remember at the start of the video I told you about that anime with that heavy metal part, and I did just that. I'm going to set up the song and I'm going to record it as I would for any songs usually, with a double take to create that stereo effect and bigger guitar sound. And I'm going to do it one round with the Recto pedal and one round with the Mesa Boogie sitting behind me. And I'm miking it up so that you get the real world comparison. Let's jump right into that. So now that you've heard my demos on this pedal, it's time to ask the serious question. Does the modern world today, filled with multi-effects and all, have a place for such a pedal? Well, I have a few reasons why you should buy this pedal. So number one being that it is really cheap. I bought this at 55 Sing dollars from our local music shop, Music Theme at Singapore, and that works out to be about 41 US dollars. For a dirt pedal like this, it is dirt cheap. Number two is that not everyone needs a lot of effects on their board. So maybe if you're thinking, I buy multi-effects, I can have everything. Yes, that's true. You're also forking out a lot of money for a lot of effects that's within the pedal that you're never going to use. So maybe some of you want a smaller board, an easier setup board without a lot of settings and tweaking to go to. This is the pedal to go. The next good thing about this pedal is that because this pedal is trying to replicate the Mesa Boogie's rectifier amplifier, we're talking about $55 versus a few $1,000s of tone. So, I mean, unless you have the money to buy a rectifier and you want to go for the original sound, I think this is a very, very close match to the rectifier sound. I wouldn't say it's 100%, that's never the case, but it is good enough. Number three, even though I have the HX Storm sitting on my pedal board, I rely heavily on analog pedals like this. Why? Because I can turn it on and off as I wish. I can grab the knobs and I can change the setting on the fly. This is very, very important if you're doing a live situation, live show situation, where a digital pedal will have to, you have to scroll through pages to tweak some settings, or you have to remember the steps to access a certain effects and tweak its parameters. Whereas this one, all I need to do is bend down, turn the knob, dial it. Maybe it could be the effects, the master is too low, or I just push it up. or the gain is too high, I just dial it down. And it works because you know it, if you play it in live situation, you will realize that the gain that you sound good in your studio will not sound the same when you're on the live stage. It depends on the size of the room, it depends on if there is an audience or no audience, what kind of show you're doing. This thing needs to be tweaked at all time. So I very much still use a lot of analog pedals. But hold on, I still need to tell you the downside of owning this pedal. For example, the EQ section that comes with only the bass and the treble, I personally find that that is not enough to set the tone on this pedal because I cannot adjust the mid frequency. And I think the mid frequency is something that I set all the time and I need to adjust it accordingly. So if I want to use this pedal, I will have to use with an external EQ pedal. Well, unless you don't mind the lack of mid frequency adjustment, and then this will be okay with you. The next thing is that this pedal, because it's made out of a very solid steel casing, it is very heavy. I feel the solid weight on my hand as I'm holding up to talk to you about it. So yeah, unless weight isn't an issue, then you should probably consider the weight, because transporting a pedal board full of pedal is no joke. Those who know, who has a big pedal board, you know that over the years we tried to scale down our pedal board, so this may be a problem because of the weight. The next reason is still very much pertaining to the equalization of the pedal. I pretty much set the treble all the way up and my bass all the way down, and even still I find it a little lacking on the treble section, which I end up using the EQ section on my DAW, my Logic Pro, to boost it up a little bit more. And that would be nice if there is a trim port or something. Speaking of which, I actually don't know if there is a trim port inside this pedal to allow me to tweak it. But even so, like I say in my first problem with this pedal, I think an external EQ will help a lot with this pedal, unless it is not showing up as a problem for you. So would you buy this pedal, or would you chuck it aside and never talk about it? Leave a comment, I want to know all about it. Like, what's the pros and cons you find about this pedal? What do you like and what do you not like about this pedal? Me personally, I will be using this on my board for quite a while, because on my board currently I don't have a pedal that allows me to do heavy distortion just like this one, and this sits very well in my pedal board. So we're done talking about the NUX Recto Distortion pedal. The next pedal I'll be talking about is the NUX Analog Delay. Now the pink color is a giveaway to tell you what pedal they are trying to replicate, or the 3 knobs on the top in this specific layout. So I'm very curious how this sounds like as compared to the original, and that will be in my next video, and I hope to see you in the next video. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do me a big favor by clicking the subscribe button right now, because that's how YouTube works, am I correct? I'll be doing more gear reviews, and I'll be talking about more products that's coming up in the next few videos. If you'd like me to review a certain product, you can also leave it in a comment below and I'll see to that. If not, I'll see you in the next video. I'm Vinny, bye. Here's the reward for sticking to the end of the video. I solved the problem of the chrome reflective knob not by buying new knobs, which I can. They're just mounted with some screws. But instead I printed these very cool. This is the Hanya mask, and this is, I believe this is modeled after Ronnie James Dio. Alright, so anyway, if you want this STL files, I'll leave them in the description below. And thanks for sticking around. See you. Bye.